order the Board of Education meeting for RCC for Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. We have a quorum. Thank you all for taking time out of your night to be here. And we are going to start with awards and recognitions. Dr. Weber.
We do have two, and I'm going to ask our fearless attendee, Shelby, if she'll wander and meet me over here. And so we have historically had a really good attendance at the State Student Success and Retention Conference. And at it, they have a number of awards. And so their conference, they have awards aimed, one, to elevate student services and professionals in Oregon and to acknowledge and celebrate efforts of professionals and programs that go above and beyond to support the needs of students. We have two award recipients from the SSRC conference. The first one is the Innovation Award recipient, and that is for our high school programs partnership team. And with us today from that group, we have a number of them on Zoom. Rachel Ostrowski, Raylan Horton, Casey Egger, Laura Bowles, and with us is Shelby Freestone. And so a little bit about their efforts that their nominee put in to help them get recognized is that they've transformed what dual enrollment can look like between high school and community college. Instead of simply offering college credits, they created a wraparound model that truly prepares students for college success. Their approach is both intentional and personal. They work closely with high school counselors to help students select courses that align with goals, higher college credits, and real-life responsibilities. It's not a one-size-fits-all model. The results are clear. Students are more prepared, more engaged, and have a clearer path to college. Their innovation is also extending beyond RCC, with other colleges now learning from and adopting their model. Demonstrating it is both scalable and sustainable. This team hasn't just improved dual enrollment, they've reimagined it. And so we wanted to recognize our SSRC award-winning high school programs team. And when I give my monthly report with some numbers of some of their work, but we know that they've done phenomenal work. It's nice that they got recognized for their colleagues for it. So Shelby and now I see people online. I see Ray Lynn and Rachel's in a vehicle and Tiffany waving. All right. Thanks to each of you for your continued contributions. You know, we set this pipeline goal to grow high school enrollment a couple of years ago, and we've hit it out of the park, and it's been really your efforts. I talk with superintendents a lot, and they're like, we see RCC people in our buildings all the time. It is so great. It's so energizing. Thank you for that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Second award tonight is an attendee online, and I see her on there. At the same conference, the Unsung Hero Award went to our Director of TRIO Talent Search and Educational Opportunity Center, Holly Adair. So some words that Holly's nominator said about her. She's the kind of person every institution hopes to have: steady, humble, and deeply committed to students. In her work with TRIO, she serves students and colleagues without ever seeking recognition. She steps in when there's a need, untangles complex processes, and brings calm clarity during moments of change. As our teams redesign systems and improve services, Holly ensures decisions are not only efficient, but equitable and student-centered. She is a gifted listener, a trusted collaborator, and a steady source of support, especially during times of uncertainty. Students may not always see her work, but they feel it in smoother processes, clearer communication, and stronger support. Holly is truly the wind beneath our wing and the quiet strength that helps RCC soar. Thank you, Holly. And I'll just say briefly, you know, these conferences, these awards, we've had RCC awards for a number of years, and we've got plaques to recognize them. But we've spent some time the last couple of years being more intentional about. We know that the gains that we've seen in our institution are unparalleled by many. And getting the opportunity to recognize and celebrate our folks that are actually doing the work leading to those results is great, especially when they get it from some external feedback. So thank you guys again. And Shelby, you are welcome to stay for the entire meeting. You are also welcome to flip back at regular schedule.
Thank you. that makes my heart very happy as someone who works in K-12 and, underserved populations. That just awesome job. Very, very nice. We are moving on to public comment. Do we have any public comment? No public comment. Moving on to college reports. Let's start with Micah.
Promote him now, so he'll join in a second.
Okay. Great, Micah, are you there?
Yes, I am. I keep forgetting that my camera does not work and I have to get a new one, so I apologize.
That's right. You are up.
Okay. So ASG did our usual term week of welcome event. We hosted a cookie decorating activity. The Redwood Cafe made cookies in the shapes of like tulips and rabbits and eggs, for spring. And quite a lot of students enjoyed it. And then usual tables and people around campus to show new students around. And we did our clubs fair, which was held in conjunction with Week of Welcome on all 3 campuses, and 12 out of the 14 clubs, along with 1 club that's in process, participated. Then we hosted a movie night at Redwood and RVC, and we showed the movie Fantastic Mr. Fox and provided many concessions. Students did express that they enjoyed the movie and concessions. We also hosted the interclub council meetings, which I personally could not attend because I was very sick. But a lot of clubs participated, which is very nice to see, and they had some great discussions about events that they would like to collaborate on. And that's it for the events that happened since I last spoke with y'all. And we have some upcoming events. A event that's for voter registration, that promotes voter registration, and also a simultaneous Hamilton sing-along event, which is quite fun. That's mostly being put on by the Diversity Programming Board. Then we're doing a May the 4th Be With You event for Star Wars Day. A student parent movie event in collaboration with the Student Parent Task Force. Future ICC meetings, upcoming Pizza with the Presidents, and then an end of the year barbecue, study cafe, graduation cap decorating event, and in conjunction with counseling, doing a April and May mental health awareness event. I'm done.
And
Thank you.
I see here that the ASG positions opened up on the 1st, so that.
Oh, yes, yes.
Get some good people to help lead, right?
Mm-hmm. We've
right.
had some, I think 3 or 4 people interested so far for next term.
Excellent. All right, well, we're glad you're feeling better, and thank you for your report tonight.
Thank you.
Is there anybody on from Faculty Association or Faculty Senate? We did get a written report from the Classified Association this month. Okay. We are going to move on to our board reports and start with the executive committee. Jonathan.
Briefly, we discussed meetings tonight, both work session and this general session and the strategic planning process. Discuss future board work sessions and also the spring events that all board members should be signing up for. And then I'll discuss the survey that everybody filled out on board officers, committee, and liaison interest form. So
There you go. All right, board outreach committee.
I have nothing unless Jonathan has something from the RBTV or Rogue Valley Council of Governments.
their meeting is tomorrow.
Ah,
Indra, go ahead.
Well, I continue to talk with people one-on-one about the great work we're doing with our new programs and career and technical education, but also the news on, I was talking with Isan, the news on the Pell Grants being available for short-term programs. I blasted that out on social media and
OCCA, OSBA.
We had a legislative meeting last week. And also we got some good news, and I was told by Randy, don't blow his work. He's gonna talk to us about it later. So I'm telling you, just wait for Randy.
Okay, gotcha.
Was that the right message, Randy?
Pretty close.
Thank you. Foundation Board Liaison.
Normally I'd have something to say, but I have nothing. I'm hoping that Cass has something good to tell us in her report.
Okay.
So I had nothing this week. Nothing.
Been full of all sorts of nothingness.
Yeah, that's right.
As far as the President's Performance Review Committee, you received some more information from Michelle this week. We will be talking about this in our executive session tonight as well. But I do want to say thank you to all of you for getting that information into Michelle so she could do that collation and tabulation so that we can help give Randy guidance into what we're hoping for him. So
Michelle is nimble.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
he is good. She is so good. All right, Dr. Weber, we are ready for your college update.
Okay, a couple of things I wanted to highlight tonight. Yeah, so the teaser that Pat threw out was at his April 9th meeting, the Higher Ed Coordinating Commission, HEC, convened a vote. I heard a lot of people say it was the most suspenseful vote ever in HEC history, and it was to approve the Bachelor's of Applied Science and Education consortium. So it required 8 votes. It received 8 votes. Yeah, it was a really touchy topic for a variety of reasons. I will say a significant amount of people put a lot of work into making this happen. It's a 5-school consortium consisting of Treasure Valley Community College, Columbia Gorge, Chemeketa, Lynn Denton, and RCC. Too many people contributed to name them all, but I would be remiss if I did not say that Juliet Long and her leadership was instrumental in getting this done for us. What it will consist of with the consortium is that we will be responsible for 4 courses initially, and that'll allow us to use some of our faculty or to use some adjunct who are practicing professionals in the field. I'm confident Dave's team will help to identify how to best get our qualified instructors for our courses that we're responsible for. We've said throughout this entire process, I can promise you, I have worked closely with President Bailey at SOU, that we are not doing this in a way that is intended to compete with SOU. The demand and need for qualified K-12 and teachers in this region is so high. We need both of these, their current program, this thing we're bringing in to be successful, to put a dent into the need. But it is designed as an alternative strategy, more to compete with the online options that we've seen a lot of the classified personnel in the districts opting into. And that's why the superintendents came to us and said, we'd like another local option that competes with these online that students have been moving to in droves. And so more to come on that. The thing I will say that's really important is we cannot advertise it as an approved program, because it's not an approved program. It will not be until we go through a couple more steps, which include our accreditor, NWCCU, convening a panel for us to be in a baccalaureate awarding institution and to approve this program, and then for Department of Ed to do what we call program participation agreement, so that students are eligible for a baccalaureate program at RCC. So we've got folks with timeline. I think we're still aiming for an entering cohort of fall of 2027. if all things go well. And WCCU is graciously committed to convening a panel in an expedited way for us. They knew we were waiting on this HEC vote in April. So, a lot of great effort went into that. At the same, meeting, we heard, the executive director, Ben Cannon, give an update on the efforts the governor is saying to prepare for with agency requested budgets. And if you recall, for the current biennium, what she said was she did not want to see any requests greater than 1% higher, so more than 1% higher than current service level. And historically, agencies have requested a lot of money far above and beyond. And she's like, don't bother. There's not going to be the dollars there for that for the current biennium. And that's very much the model that she's looking at for the next agency request budget. And so and as I understand it, we might be preparing for even for what we call POPs, policy option packages. Those are things like, well, maybe you could do new money if it's targeted for something that aligns with the state priority. They're hearing, don't even ask for POPs unless you can offset it with one of your existing expenses. I was a little alarmed based on just past work and passion I have to hear. So what Director Cannon did was said, here are some things that we're considering visiting within the agency budget to allow for capacity if we want to do some things different. And the one in particular that was spooky to me is revisiting the conversation around moving promised dollars to Oregon Opportunity Grant. There are a number of reasons that's concerning to me. The most specific of which is promise, and I will say the current Oregon model, in my belief, is very flawed. But promise at its core across the country is delivered as a program to increase college going rate at a high school. There's reasons with our design that make that a problem. Part of it is there's a lot of contingency. Students don't always get the money. The counselors don't always sell the program. But my assertion is we have a college going problem at a high school in Oregon. Why eliminate the program designed to improve it? We might need to revisit it, remodel it, do something. But if you have a problem, eliminating the program designed to address that problem doesn't seem like a good solution for me. So I will continue to advocate for a very, very revised promise program that might fall in the spirit more of what we're seeing across the rest of the country. But there are a lot of examples elsewhere where we've seen promise actually move the needle on college going rate. And I'd love to see us explore that as a state. So I will probably be sharing more on that, but that's water statewide that I'd be willing to help carry. You've heard and continue to hear more on House Bill 4124, which is Representative Pam Marsh from our district's bill that she has authored or sponsored. That's designed to evaluate the current state of post-secondary in Oregon and to make recommendations. The current deliverables that are expected are a preliminary report, I think, by the end of October, and the final report in April. Realistically, it's gonna be hard to have anything for a preliminary report in October, but they definitely plan to have it to reference during long session next spring. Where they're at is we met with Director Cannon as a cohort of college presidents yesterday, and to talk about this. And where they're at is they're focused on the process right now. So what's the process going to be inclusive of? Who's going to be involved in it? What voice? How do we preserve certain things that we know to be true throughout the process? And then they are in the coming week, and that's been done with Oregon Consensus Group, which is a facilitated group at a Portland State University, and they're helping create the parameters that will go into an RFP where the HEC will hire a consultant to facilitate this process. So we will be very involved in it. But as we just had our conversations around strategic planning and not knowing what a certainty, there's an opportunity for this bill to include recommendations that foundationally, that we might see good or bad, could influence the way we deliver what we do in our district. And so we can't wait for that to move forward, but we can only move forward so far in a certain direction until we have a little more clarity. So plenty more to come from that in the coming months, but it will go fast once we kick it off. RCC in service is May 8th, and I will share that our professional development committee is working really hard to plan and put that together. So I look forward to the day's events, and at that, one of the activities is that I do give a state of the college essentially to employees, and so I'm preparing thoughts and remarks for that. We have had an opportunity offered to us by the governor's legislative and finance office. It's called LFO, to have a visit next month. So they'll do a site visit to get a better understanding of the community colleges, gaining what they're defining as a deeper on the ground understanding of the diversity of undertakings, opportunities, and challenges facing Oregon's community colleges. I will tell you, when we see some of these opportunities, whether it's been with the governor in the past or with the chair of the commission, I will tell you in follow-up conversations with these folks they're like, I didn't realize you do what you do at RCC. The way we lean into CTE, the challenges we sometimes have with multi-campus, the way we get to brag about the priorities we have and the results we're getting for that responsiveness. I don't have any of them leave saying you guys are doing the wrong work. They're like, this is exactly what we envision our community colleges should be doing. So I look forward to sharing that with the visitor and wishfully hoping that they see the value of what we do enough that they want to point resources at it. At the end of May, leadership team, senior leadership team, and Isam and I are going to Phoenix to attend a regional meeting for what they call the Society for College and University Planning, SCUP. They'll help us with our culture of planning and some focus there. And while we're there, we're going to visit, the League for Innovation has helped us with a site visit for at ASU to look at their virtual reality lab and see kind of where virtual reality they've ASU's resources around innovation are second to none. And so we're looking forward to learning both about planning, but also virtual reality on that visit. The last thing I have is in your materials that were put in front of you tonight, and I apologize, Roger, this was not included in what you have. There's a little bit of a chart here that reflects enrollments. And what I will point out on this is that I've been hoping, and the team knows, so they've not been cooking enrollments, but they know I've been very much waiting for this critical milestone. That milestone for the last couple of years, I've wanted us to get to 10,000 students, and we did it this year. We hit 10,000 students and counting. We'll have more students in LEFA's community and workforce development program on that schedule. So I'm really excited that, you know, we can say over 10,000 students in credit and non-credit are served by the work we do at RCC. And then there's just some quick little numbers there as far as the numbers we're serving between credit, non-credit, and dual credit. And this year, academic year 26 versus academic year 22. The one I'll highlight is the people we celebrated this earlier today. High school programs, dual credit is up 88.7%. That's amazing, and that's why they're getting the recognitions that they're getting. So those are the things that have been the most consuming over the last month. I would conclude my report unless there are any questions.
Gary?
I'll go.
Yeah, you go first, and then-
Randy, the 10th, that's amazing. That's fantastic. The number of students that we're serving. I didn't see it, and I didn't make a copy of that.
I think it might be in your
It's
pile.
in your packet.
I just went through it.
Is it underneath your computer?
Here we go. So my,
For today.
yes, here we go. Okay, so my question is pre-COVID, when we think about the years, what, 9 to 2017,
Yeah.
18, 19? Where were what was the head count then? And are we about that or have we exceeded that?
We have I look at because our trend data is easy to find. So sometimes we look at different reports for different things. So this is our current trend data here. To compare that 10-year data, I often use the HEX fall fourth week numbers. And we have surpassed our pre-COVID numbers from 2019. Interestingly, I just saw a draft today of the Community College Financial Monitoring Report. And it reflects enrollment across the state over the last 10 years. And it was total FTE. And over the last 10 years, the state is still down 19% because, the decline started before.
Yeah.
COVID. It is deeply saying the state's down 19%, RCC is down 5%. So we are by far outperforming. There are only 3 colleges outperforming us, and they're all significantly smaller than us as far that are up. We're of the schools that are still down from 10 years ago. We're down the least, but there are 3 small ones that are up a little bit.
Okay, but my real question
Yeah.
it was buried in that, which is, has the Community College Support Fund decreased over a decade in such a way that we couldn't offer the same kind of programming that we did 10 and more years ago because we are not getting the reimbursable FTE for those students. So would you say that part of the conundrum in not growing our college is connected to the support fund that actually has restricted funding over?
So no and yes. So the first question was, has the CCSF decreased? No, it hasn't. It has increased. Then the second question was, is it restricting what we do? Absolutely. And so the way both can be true is because while the Community College Support Fund has increased, it has not increased at the rate of actual costs to deliver what we deliver. And most of those costs are absolutely fixed. And the most impactful thing for RCC is, and it was put in place for a variety of reasons, but it was definitely not put in place with COVID in mind, is the growth management cap. So we all took the enrollment hits and during COVID, and our growth has outpaced by far other institutions, to the point when you look at the 4-year reports, we're up 52% and the state average is up 19%.
Okay.
So it's that kind of a gap over that time. And the growth management cap hasn't allowed for it. So today we have 23% of our reimbursable FTE not reimbursed by the state.
And if we were to look 10 and more years ago, would that
all of it?
percentage would-
4 years ago, it was all being reimbursed. It was during this most recent enrollment incline and so it's a little bit more every year because of the way that the funding.
So are the cost of us delivering education, personnel costs, heat and lights, mortgages, et cetera, those costs have grown significantly greater than the amount of reimbursement that we get for the state's portion of that reimbursement, right?
By a lot.
Yeah, so you see a lot of what the state reimburses for FTE and the rate in that. Well, it's a tricky math because that's for what they're calling reimbursed your FTE. But for what we deliver for FTE, we get way less than that. So I'll just make it up. These numbers aren't right. They may say from total public funds, institutions receive $10,000 per FTE. Well, that's based on what they've calculated. But because we produce so much that they don't reimburse, we may only be getting 8,000. So we have the same real costs as other institutions, but instead of that 10,000 advertised rate, we're seeing more like an $8,000 rate because 23% of what we produce is not reimbursed by the state.
Okay.
So we still collect our tuition if it's a credit course, and we still collect our local taxes that are not enrollment dependent, but the total public fund calculation hits us hard.
Thank you.
Why is non-credit down so far? Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, so non-credit is down. If I were to show it to you, it is down particularly the last 2 years as we've hit the growth management cap because it doesn't generate tuition. It's what we literally now have to look at because we've got so much on the table. We're prioritizing what is more self-sustaining, which is the tuition generating courses, and those are some of and that's one of the reasons. Another somewhat noticeable reason is our pre-college GED team has modified their model a little bit to where they're serving not as many students, but their FTE has declined way more than their headcount has. So they're delivering in a way that doesn't collect as much produce as much FTE, but they're still serving the students. And those are all things that we've had to do to control costs. So I think an important takeaway from that is there's significant demand for what we do, but we're literally opting out of doing some of it because we cannot afford to do it. You know, we didn't touch base on our difficult decision to step away from the SBDC. That was on my list and I walked right past it because I wanted to recognize Lisa has done a phenomenal job working with the community on managing that decision and making sure that we're still going to support the community in a way. But these are the types of decisions we're left with now because of the impact of the funding model where we're not able to educate or provide the continued level of service that we've done for 40 years in some instances because we are prioritizing other work at the college.
Would that also take into consideration just the changing non-credit kind of offerings, like getting rid of some programs that we weren't even filling anymore? I don't know if it did or not, but not really.
Well, there were some, I think some of the things we counted years ago, like maybe in that earlier counting, like we counted for, I'm going to throw it out, driver's ed maybe, and we don't now, or we'd count it differently. There's been some what we count differently. What I can say with a certain level of confidence, and Lisa, feel free to jump in because you're chomping at the bit here.
You're being recognized.
What we are offering today is way more responsive to industry and workforce need. I think there were a lot of things we were producing around lifelong learning that we were proud to do as a comprehensive college that we backed off of, and we've leaned into forklift training and other types of workforce training.
That's kind of was my question is the shift of it, but go ahead.
Oh, I've just wanted to point out that like our head count for non-credit for the workforce, community and workforce training, so separate than the pre-college GED, has significantly grown. And the workforce trainings have grown and continue to grow, and customized trainings and all of that. So that speaks to the responsiveness of providing what's, required or necessary in our community. So the headcount has grown. We also don't have a way to show our data in our system right now, Power BI. And so those headcount numbers or enrollment numbers look really small. So I have to snip and send to Randy the numbers.
Well, and so to that point, as a reminder, for the prior 4 years, it is end of term data. And we're at 10,024 right now. And as I referenced earlier, Lisa's number will grow for this term. So she's in a chill. They have things that aren't in the system yet. So that non-credit gap will close with a lot of the programming still to be determined. So that's the credit's pretty stuck where it's at because we're in spring term. So part of it is down because a lot of theirs comes in later in the term, which we don't have right now.
Justifying my existence here.
My other question was, in the head count then, does that include all full-time, part-time, non-credit, all students?
Yeah, so that total number you have, that's the 10,000 would be for all students in a counted program. And to Lisa's point, we add more later. But interestingly, I think, just like dual credit, we're seeing a lot of the shift from even the numbers are going up, but from traditional dual credit in the high school, their teacher, their day, to more of the early college where they're getting dental assisting and CDL and phlebotomy. Like we're doing way more of the, so even what we're doing is a significantly broader aspect. So I think a lot of, in our peak enrollments, we were doing a lot of lifelong learning stuff that really helped with headcount creeps. When I look back like a decade and so that ago, we have less ability to do that. So I think it's going to be hard to up to some of those non-credit numbers that we were at during peak times. But I think when we look at the workforce training non-credit, we've got a lot to be proud of.
Very exciting.
Did you want to touch on this, piece, or are you good on it?
I'm good. I think that's,
Any other questions for? All right. How about we move? Jamie, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we are at senior leadership team. You are up.
Okay, great. Well, hi everyone. I wanted to just provide some updates about two foundational efforts that are underway. As a reminder, both of these are new this year, and they are intended to strengthen how we engage both internally and externally. Those are our first ever annual report to the community and the establishment of our new college council. So I think we've talked before about this year will mark the first year that the college is developing a comprehensive annual report to the community. We really see this as a significant milestone for us. We've talked before about how our goal is to more intentionally tell our story, highlighting our impact on our students and on the region, sharing our progress on our strategic priorities and the excellent stewardship of public resources. We are building this from the ground up with a focus on aligning data with meaningful storytelling and ensuring that it's accessible and supportive of community-facing use. What's really important about this from my perspective is that it's not just a one-time effort or a report that, we think might collect dust on a shelf. We really are working to establish a foundation for an annual practice that will continue to evolve and strengthen our connection with the community over time. And so we're really getting excited. It's starting to take shape with the outlines and articles coming in. And so looking forward to sharing that with you all as it progresses. In parallel, we have established our new college council as part of strengthening shared governance and employee voice. Our co-chairs of the College Council are Lisa Parks, who I think is in the room there, a dean, as well as Tiffany Henschel. She's a newer staff member, a great part of the marketing and communications team. And so we're really being intentional about modeling shared leadership across the institution. The early work that they're doing right now is really focused primarily on developing a shared governance framework, which we haven't had before at RCC, and exploring different kinds of tools to support it, like a RACI model to clarify different kinds of groups and their roles in decision making. And so RACI, if you haven't been familiar with that before, is really about defining who's responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. And so really thinking through different strategies to implement that in a meaningful way across the institution. All of this work is really important because it will bring greater clarity and consistency, not just in decision making, but also in increasing transparency and meaningful opportunities for input. So it's really about building the infrastructure for how we tell our story externally and how we create more clarity internally. And so I see these both as really critical efforts for our long-term effectiveness and trust as an institution. So excited to highlight those efforts today that we've talked about in previous meetings. I also welcome any questions you might have about what was provided in our written report.
Any questions for Amy? You just did such a thorough job. There are no questions. There you go. All right.
Thank you.
You are up.
Thanks. I just wanted to add that last week on Thursday, we finished up our site visit for the Commission on Dental Accreditation. They came here And they were reviewing our Table Rock campus for dental hygiene after our initial accreditation from the prior year. And so we haven't had an opportunity to have any completions out of that program yet. We did receive 4 recommendations from that site visit. We'll have more information about that for you as we get the official notification. But one of them was related to, I believe, the ventilation in some of the labs. So that was kind of the biggest one that would take a little bit longer to address than the others. So yeah, we'll have more information about that, but I did want to just take an opportunity to publicly recognize both Rusty Reese, our dean, and Carmen Mons, the director of dental programs, who spent a considerable amount of time preparing for this visit, including preparing our staff and faculty and our industry partners who came to speak to the site visitors. And so I just wanted to take a moment to recognize their hard work on that.
They also received another big decision from CODA related to this campus recently, we're sharing.
Yes, and that was for the labs here. And that was that we could move forward with the dental assisting portion over here. So, yep. I thought I mentioned that last month.
You might have.
Okay.
It's worth mentioning twice.
Yes, it is worth mentioning. So we'll be continuing to move forward with working with Grants Pass School District to have early college model for dental assisting here. So that's it's ongoing work right now. We have a couple of students from Grants Pass currently, but now that we have the full accreditation from CODA, that makes it real.
Congratulations.
Yeah. That's all I have for you.
Any questions for Dave? I know Lisa's not here, and Isam, we heard from you quite a lot, but is there anything more you'd like to add?
I'm good.
Okay. And that moves us to Cass.
Okay, hello, everybody. You do have a packet of information that I'd like to draw your attention to when you can't sleep tonight. No, if you really can take a look at that preliminary case for support, it does provide some great information. I've included in my report, cover letter and that preliminary case for support that has gone out to a group of community leaders and folks that we are really looking to just get their feedback regarding our transportation technology and our comprehensive campaign. So Casey Woodard is our consultant, and he will be in hour-long meetings with 30 to 40 people from our community to talk about the feasibility. What I love about this piece too in the preliminary case is it is part of what we all know as part of telling the story about all the amazing things that are happening at RCC. And then evoking from them how much they'd like to give from the campaign. Some other highlights that I'd like to share are that we're currently sitting on 23.5 million in our invested funds. So that's great, and $272,000 in our People's Bank. And then our net revenue from the beginning of the fiscal year to date is $2,174,000 and plus dollars. And currently we have awarded over $936,000 in scholarships. So that's high level. And if you have any questions. Thanks. Oh, by the way, our next board meeting for Pat is
Yeah.
on May 30th. We'll have more to report after that.
Great.
Thank you so much. We are now moving into our board action and information part of our agenda. First part is just our monthly financial data reports. Any questions? Okay. Our revised, the first reading of both our revised board policy 3540 and 3550. It's like some pretty minor changes.
Right.
So those will be up for second and final reading next month. Moving on to our action items. The first one. Did you have a question?
I was gonna ask a question when you get there.
Okay, we are moving on towards our action items, and action item D will be elimination of the auxiliary services fund. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Any discussion?
I wondered, did I miss the amount in the fund? I read it, but I didn't see a number of how much is in the fund.
It's like 160,000.
Sorry?
It's 160,000.
150,000. Okay, that'll go into the general fund.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, those in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Action item 8B. GMP amendment with Adroit. I would entertain a motion. So moved.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Pat. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Vanessa, I just have a question. It may be a
Go for
little
it,
bit, I'm sorry, a little bit premature, but I noticed that the construction budget for the two projects came in at 13.5 in round numbers, 13,500,000. And I know that the budget for the two projects, which includes a lot of things other than just the construction, is around 17 million. So there's essentially $3.5 million in there. Maybe the question I have is this construction portion of that budget, the 17 million budget, is that in good shape, or are we stretching things? Are we going to run out of money before we put those buildings up?
No, we are in good shape, and this guaranteed maximum price for construction is roughly $4,000 under what we had budgeted for this portion of the project. And so the remaining dollars that you're talking about, which include architectural design fees, which we're almost through paying for that piece, furniture, fixture, and equipment, and permit plan review and system development charges and all those things. And we're right in line with what we project to spend. Our budget's right in line with where we need to be.
Did I hear you correctly saying that there's a difference of $4,000? 4,000?
Yes, sir.
How did you do that?
Is that good? Magic.
Yeah. Crystal ball was really shiny that day.
Okay, thanks. That does explain it. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we weren't approving something that was going to get us in trouble later.
So one of the things I will, for full transparency to the board, we mentioned it before, but we want to continue to mention it, is the $17 million is for construction and building. And it does not include much of the equipment that would go in there. And so there's a couple alternatives. Well, one is a preparedness to move existing equipment in there. That would be the less desirable option. The more desirable option is, you just heard an update from Cass. A big foundation effort is a campaign to expand this project that would include new equipment, as well as to be able to also include the added alternates, which would essentially double the bay size in Table Rock and add 2 additional bays at Redwood. So there's part of staying within the budget is to reduce the scope of the project to fit within the budget. We are going to candidly go out there and say, if we do the budgeted project that the college is committed to, we will be using old equipment and we will outgrow the space in less than 18 months. So if you can support this project, we can equip it with modern technology and expand the bays to where this project has a longer shelf life that allows us to expand both the curricular offerings and the number of students going through the program. That's what we're going to test in the community, is how much interest to support that is there.
Further discussion?
Greg had something
Report?
else.
I just wanted to add that we did price out those expanded options as well as the new equipment pieces that we would need beyond what we're reusing. So we have solid numbers of what those are, even though they're not part of this project and weren't intended to originally be part of the project. But it's something that we actually have hard numbers on.
Any other discussion? Those in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Moving on to new business. You have a list in your packet of the RCC spring events coming up. If you have not yet replied to Rochelle about which events you can attend, please get that done quickly so that she can make sure the arrangements are made. Anything you want me to add to that, Ms. Rochelle?
That's one of the most important.
Yes.
So let me know at least about that.
Yes. So if you are coming to commencement and need regalia, that is the pressing matter right now for Rochelle.
Rochelle, can you resend that? I don't seem to have that.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that I.
It's,
Right now.
it was just part of the big.
Oh,
packet.
okay, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, but I know you emailed us
Yeah.
about that too, so. If you could maybe touch base with the couple that haven't responded, that would be great. And then the next new business we have is our board officer slate committee liaison positions. I was gonna say, Maria, I think you already replied to the ones you wrote to, so. I think you did it already.
I did.
So thank
I
you.
think we forgot.
Thank you, Rochelle, for sending out the interest survey. Really appreciate that. I thought that worked out well last year and to do it again this year went well. Maria, you are the winner. And of those, you will be on the slate to be elected to be appointed to be the incoming vice chair for next year. We appreciate your
Really
willingness.
competitive slate.
Listen, you rose above the rest. Let's just put it right there. The next three committee choices, we all had a chance to rank our top choices. And so it looks like Indra, you for sure are on the board outreach committee again. That was the first choice for you. And then Pat and Jonathan, you can either thumb wrestle, you can.
I think Jonathan's much better at than I am.
You have that golden Rolodex.
So we'll come back to it in a minute.
Okay.
For the board self-evaluation committee, if reinstated, we had Maria, Gary, and Pat that were interested in that one. Sounds good to me. And then for the president's review committee, Jonathan and I put that as our first. And then looks like Roger and Maria were tied for second on that one.
I'll let Roger have it.
You'll let Roger have it. Hey, Roger, congratulations on that.
A good trade, Maria. I appreciate it.
So we'll go back to board outreach. So we have Pat.
I'll take a year off.
What's that?
I'll take the year off.
Okay, I like work with Andrew anyway, so it works well.
Okay, got that. We could have three people on it. You're my alternate right there if you want it. There you go.
We should have a Jackson County person.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, good call.
Good
Jonathan,
point.
congratulations. You have now been
Be the alternate.
selected. For liaison positions, I know this last time Roger and I did the bond oversight committee. I'm okay stepping off if someone else wanted to do it, but I don't mind doing that next year again if it's reinstated. Roger, since you're joining the president's performance review, do you want to stay on that or you want to stay on the bond oversight because you've been on it? Are you okay?
I have been on it, but if somebody wants to take my place, go for it.
Actually, Roger's really good on it.
Yes.
You know, if it's between me and Roger, I'd rather have Roger there, to be honest. He's just better. You should ask Greg. Greg, who do you want to work?
Thanks for that stirring endorsement.
Don't answer.
Gary, if that's something that you're interested in, I'll let you get on that.
Thank you.
And then, Foundation Board Liaison, we have Maria, Roger, Jonathan, and Indra expressed interest into that.
I don't have to be on that one if somebody wants to
Okay.
step in.
Well, Roger will take you off since you're doing the bond oversight.
Yep.
And I'd be happy to. Step on.
That's nice.
Jonathan's gonna be busy being the chairperson next year and being on the outreach committee. So Indra and Maria, would you be willing to alternate on that one?
Sure.
Okay. All right, I have things circled, Rochelle, and I can help make sure we got the same thing going on. All right. We are now on to old business, and that is our transportation tech.
You wanna do this?
Wait, did I miss?
Look at the page.
Listen. Okay, here we go. Yeah, legislative. Pat and Jonathan, you've been doing that. Is that something you're interested in continuing or take a break from?
Yeah, I should be there.
You should.
And
be.
actually, Jonathan should be too. He adds some gravitas to the meetings when he attends.
We'll do that. I see you're both on there as the OCCA.
Yeah.
Again, okay. RV cog.
You want to continue doing that, Jonathan?
Sure. You can
It's okay to say.
join in if you
I
want.
can be your alternate.
Okay,
That's great, yes.
okay.
Can we modify where it said the legislative committee liaison if reinstated?
Yeah.
Eliminate if reinstated and then,
Whoever that.
and then put OCCA
Yes.
legislative committee.
Just have it all
liaison.
be.
Yeah.
So it's OCCA's
Yeah.
legislative committee is what they've been participating in.
Okay, we'll just have
It's
that be a
different than us
combined.
Developing our own.
Okay, we got you.
We would bring like has happened in years past, the legislative priorities that committee
Yeah.
request colleges to consider to adopt, we would bring that to the full board.
And then, Rochelle, as far as the committee assignments. If Maria now is going to be our vice chair, you'll rearrange those with what you need it to be. Yeah. Okay. Now, any other discussion about this? I'm really done. Okay. All right, sorry, Greg, now. Transportation Technology Center project update.
You already talked about the most interesting piece earlier with the guaranteed maximum price. So you have my report before you. The capital project funding summary has been updated. The only change with the information, the detailed information is just highlighting the groundbreaking ceremony again, and then just adding when we anticipate moving into the facility. And so in answer to your question, Roger, I have a long process that I follow, very strict process for budgeting. I was caught off guard on that question, but it's very detailed process and happy to share it with anybody that wants it.
Those dates.
As long as it works, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're moving really quick. Excited to have the groundbreaking and just amazing how quick time goes by. It felt like we just started yesterday with design and here we are ready to break ground.
It's really cool. All right, how about the comprehensive campus master plan date?
Yeah, so you have that report in front of you as well. We're still in phase one. And just for clarity, it is a comprehensive college-wide master plan, but we're going to change the name a little bit to a district-wide facility master plan. And just for simplicity, it's helping really clarify the focal point of what the master plan is looking at. And so we have the request for qualification for a consultant. It's out right now. And so that closes 1 week from today. And we'll go through a process where we'll evaluate the qualifications of those consultants. A selection committee process, it's a 2-step process. It narrows it down to a short list. From that short list, we interview And then we make a selection and then we negotiate a fee. And that's just the design professional process per Oregon statute for procurement. So ultimately, there's a schedule that's been updated in that report, and I could bring up a quick, just to show you here. Give me a second. What is panelist? Okay. Moving as quick as I can. About as large as I can make it. So hopefully that works for everybody. So again, we're still in phase one. And you can see we're moving along here on this timeline. Talks a little bit about the RFQ process that I just mentioned. And so the intent is that we would bring a contract to the board for approval or consideration of approval in June. And then we would immediately start working, if approved, with that consultant at the end of June. We would kick off that project, and part of the deliverable of the consultant is to create a final project schedule. And so something with the scope of this magnitude usually takes about 8 to 9 months to go through for all 3 campuses. But we're going to do our best to try to shorten up that timeline as much as we possibly can so that the deliverable to the college for this master plan can be used for the other purposes intended. So just want to focus on each of the steps here. The dates have changed a little bit just based on where we're at with the procurement process. But ultimately, leading up to the current deliverable anyway, in March of 2027. Any questions?
Would you say the new name is going to be again? District-wide facilities?
Here on top, the district-wide facility master plan.
This one I got comprehensive college.
Yeah.
Figured out.
It is essentially the same, but we had a lot of questions, and then, you know, of course, we can describe it, but it's just this, we have no questions.
Yeah, no, it's good. Okay, any questions for Greg? Okay, moving on to our consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as one.
So moved.
Second.
Ooh, it's a deep one, Russell. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. And moving on to roundtable. Anybody? Stuff to share?
I do. In tonight's Grants Pass Courier, the editorial is pretty good. And you ought to read it because it talks about us. Not so much us as RCC, but us as higher ed. And it talks about the changes that we have to face. And mostly they talk about a lot about the increase in students, one thing, the increase in costs. The lady that writes it is Megan McCarty. There's a little bit of a right-wing spin to it, but it's worthwhile reading because you probably find a lot of stuff in that editorial that you'll, yeah, there's probably some truth in there. But anyway, it's good to look at it. It's mostly deals with higher ed, but we are part of higher ed, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. So it's worthwhile reading. That's all I got.
Well, I'll tag on to the higher ed piece. So as you're all aware, SOU is in the midst of figuring out how to pair millions of dollars from their program by June of 27 and beyond. And it does sit in the zone that I represent and live in. I'm just dismayed that while this may be an opportunity of a crisis to connect with a four-year university because we are higher education, as Pat said, there doesn't seem to be resource at the state level to be able to support whatever RCC could do. And my questions to Randy around the Community College Support Fund and the limitations in that play into this particular problem. So while I would love to see, and I think I mentioned this at the last board meeting, a partnership of some kind, some wonderful opportunity that students win. SOU wins, RCC wins. It doesn't seem that that's in the cards. So I'm dismayed about that.
Goodness, I've been thinking quite a bit. I'll use my La Clinica hat just for a minute about the volatility of it's just the funding environment, mostly that, but it's just a lot going on, and I'm getting really clear of the importance of community partnership, and so really want to recognize this institution for also believing in the importance of community partnerships, and that it's in these really volatile times that we need to figure out and find that synergy and find what can you do, and we'll do this, and we'll figure out how to meet the community. It's the approach of community comes first. It's that deep love of community, and so the discussion today about surveying our community partners and really engaging them more deeply, really gladdening my heart. So congratulations.
Roger, I'm going to jump up to you if you have anything. No. Okay, just double checking. You don't want to catch out. Indra, anything?
I'll just say I've just heard RCC mentioned randomly in conversations in a positive way, so that's good. But then also someone said it would be great if RCC had a nursing program.
Wow.
Like, that's a communication issue.
Nothing new from everybody else added, although I do appreciate the fidget spinners with meetings.
They're very nice.
Really do.
I my husband works as a job coach for Southern Oregon Goodwill, and he sent me a picture of a certificate for one of his employees because he partners with them, and it just made me really proud to see that RCC certificate and the good work that you guys are doing in growing our community in the right ways for the right things. And she's going to get her associate's degree in June, and she's super excited about it. And I'm excited. I was excited to get to see that today. So before anybody moves or makes a lot of noise, I need to read something. So the board will be moving into adjourning its regular meeting and moving into executive session into ORS 192.662D labor negotiations. The board will not be reconvening after the executive session, and any final action will take place at the next regular meeting of the board. Representatives of news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. We are now.
Nothing personal, guys.
Nick, that's